Yeah, why do you keep emphasizing the importance of delegates?
Right. The unfortunate passing of Joanne Davis, her death in the fullness of her time, means that we have an election under the Code of Virginia, a special election, that's sandwiched between a general election in November and a presidential primary in February. There's essentially only one day when you have it, December 11th. Then when you go backwards to have a nominating process, there's really only one day the parties, and I'm concerned about the Republican team, there's really only one day you can nominate your candidate. It's November 10th. The rules that apply to that convention mean whoever shows up at that high school, whoever has the most people from 23 cities and counties who shows up, their candidate will be the nominee. And that Republican nominee will win in December. Now, why does that matter? The timelines are so narrow that there's not enough money in the world to buy this election. The special interests, the politicians, career politicians, the kingmakers, the people who want to determine for you who your congressman's going to be, can't do it. There's not enough time. There's not enough money. It can't happen. It's all a matter of individual Virginians in the 1st District saying, I care. I care who my congressman is. Look, there's so many of them. There's 7 out there. There's 14 of them. There's 20. It's real confusing. But somewhere in there, Virginians in the 1st District are going to set the bar. Now, if the bar is that they be Republican and conservative, we all pass. We're all good. It doesn't matter which one you choose. If you want to raise the bar and say public servant, not career politician, that's one thing. Public servant, not carpetbagger, that's another. Public servant fights additional levels of government and taxes, that's another level. Public servant ready to go to work in the Armed Services Committee, that's another level. Public servant ready to work to influence governance for the dignity and the justice and the hope of individual Virginians. A public servant who can speak truth to the power, hopefully in 1 and 2 minute increments, which I think they can. And how do you do that? How do you make that difference? There's going to be a meeting. There will be a meeting of the 1st District, and it'll all be up on the web. There'll all be information on the web. Hopefully the newspapers and the radios will pick up on this. If you want to be a delegate, you may have to sign a piece of paper saying, I promise to vote to support the winner, which should be Jim Bowden, so that should be no problem at all, okay? You're going to vote for Jim Bowden in December. That's all you got to sign up for. But you sign up on a piece of paper. You get it to one of 23 city and county chairmen, and again, all the information is going to be up on the web. In fact, it'll be on my website. It'll be James Bowden, the number 4, Virginia.com. James Bowden, B-O-W-D-E-N, as in Bobby Bowden, national champs, number 4, Virginia.com. And you choose Virginia. There are 446,000 voters in the 1st District. Now, if you let 500 people go to a convention, and I've been elected by conventions. I was elected to statewide party office by the people of the 1st Virginia in a convention of 250 people and in a convention of 400 people in the 1st District in 02 and 04. Same years that Joanne was nominated for the Congress, unopposed. I was in a contested party election, and I got the deal. If you let 500 people vote and you don't, if you take Saturday, November 10th off, watch a football game, go shopping, go do whatever you want to do, but you don't go to that high school, then that means somebody else is making a decision for you. And in December, you're not going to have a choice. You'll have the R, the Republican, and you'll have the D, the Democrat. If you care about who your congressman is, if you want to set the bar, if you care about it, well, if you show up in that high school, because there are 446,000 voters and maybe only 500 people show up, your vote is going to be worth 1,000 votes. Now, I know that's normal in Chicago and New York, places like that. But in Virginia, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. Your vote's going to be worth 1,000 votes. Now, if you care enough about your government, and this is where America began. This is where Virginia began. Tidewater is where it all began. The great experiment, democracy in America, it began right here.